baking video, and I was pondering a question last night. What are the best biscuits? Now, some might say Jaffa Cakes, which are really cakes. Garibaldi are from the devil. Rich Tea are the worst biscuits in the world. So they're not very good biscuits, or the non-biscuits are easy to work out. But in my mind, always it was the chocolate hobnob. Absolutely brilliant. But I got a book a few years ago and they made their version of Oreos. And when I made it, it's a bit messy, it was worth the mess. So today, we're going to do a chef called Thomas Keller's version of chocolate Oreos. And trust me, these are the greatest biscuits you will ever taste. So it's worth a go, okay? Right, we're going to do the filling first because it's got to chill for a while. Hi everybody, what we've got here is some white chocolate just very gently melting in a pan with about 8 grams of butter. Okay, now it's really important that the butter is in here because that'll stop the white chocolate from burning, hopefully, but obviously the temperature is the most important thing here, so you've got to keep that really low to begin with, and we just want to melt that up. Actually, I think I need to turn mine up a tiny bit. There we go. And in this other pan, what we've got here is some double cream, really thick cream, and I just put a touch of milk in because it was the extra thick stuff that I had in the cupboard. Now, the recipe actually calls for double this quantity of white chocolate like the classic Oreo, but what I've done, I've split the quantities so that we're going to have one set of the Oreos white and one set of the Oreos dark, and all I'm going to do is exactly the same for each. It's just gradually melt the chocolate in the pan, heat up the milk, and then what happens is that when at the end the milk is starting to simmer away and this is fully melted, we will just throw the milk in and whisk it together, and then we'll put it in a little carton or in a little tub container for later on, and that will form our filling. Okay, so as you can see, and just melt it. What will be useful this time of year as well as Easter eggs. Got Easter eggs left over, lob them in. It doesn't call for the best quality chocolate in the world. This is fairly decent white chocolate, but most white chocolate's pretty similar in any case. And as for the darker chocolate, you can use milk chocolate if you want. It's just for a filling. It's going to have cream in, so it doesn't need to be the really posh stuff. So what I've done, I've actually taken a little bit of dark chocolate just to give it a little bit of bitter, and I've put in an old Easter egg. So use up those Easter eggs if you've got them knocking about the house, and if you haven't, it's always a good idea to go down to the supermarket because as far as I know, when I've been in there, they've been selling them for pennies. Same process with the dark chocolate. You can see I've got a mixture of milk and dark in here, which melts much better than the white chocolate, I've got to say. Hi everyone, we're going to start making the biscuit now. Now if you've got a mixer, it's really useful now. Stand mixer's fantastic, a hand mixer's great. You can use your beaters at the top of a hand mixer, that's fine, there won't be a problem. But start off on a really slow speed when you incorporate the dry mix. What we're going to do first of all though, is cream, the butter and the sugar together. Now the best things to use if you haven't got a mixer for this is a wooden spatula, and using the back of the spatula, rubbing it against the side of the bowl, or if you can, a silicone or plastic spatula is probably the best, something that's flexible. And all you've got to do is beat them together. So what I'm going to do is just show you, I'll put my little rubber Kenwood flappy thing on the end here. This is absolutely brilliant. I've had this for about 25 years. It looks it now. It's a little bit battered, it's a little bit old. It's had a new motor and all that sort of thing, but it is really, really, really reliable. I've got 225 grams of plain butter here. I'm just going to add that in. Get it all in. It's quite a buttery, short mix this. And I'm going to put this down. I'm just put it on a low speed for now, just so it whips it up nice and creamy. How creamy that is now, and all I'm going to do is add the sugar, but I'm going to turn it up a wee bit just so that we get a bit more of a mix. There we go. You can see how light and fluffy that butter is now with the sugar. It's all mixed in fully, it's all creamed, so it does look like cream. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add the dry ingredients. Now, little tip here is to add it little by little. If you don't, you'll have a room that is covered in cocoa powder. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all, I'm just going to add, I think 2/3 of a teaspoon of baking powder, or bicarbonate of soda should do. The Americans use baking powder, it's an American cookbook. Bicarb should be fine. So put that in there. And we've got 2 teaspoons of salt, okay? This is so useful, it's actually a measurement as well, 4 teaspoons, okay? So 2 teaspoons of salt, level, okay, not heaped. So there's 1, there's 2. And I'm going to put a tiny bit in because I missed a bit there. See, it's virtually all together. There's little bits of flour that I haven't incorporated fully. And all I'm going to do is bring it together with my hand. So we end up with a ball of dough like this. Now, what you've got to do now is chill this, and you've got to find a container to chill it in. People use cling film, but I'll tell you what's brilliant. Takeaway boxes. Right, as you can see, I've cut my cookie mix into little blocks, and I've also got 2 skewers. Now I'm putting the skewers down because that's how thick I want my biscuit base, and the rolling pin will roll on this and make it nice and even. I'm also rolling it on greaseproof paper, as I said, okay, just to make sure that it keeps the whole place clean as possible. Now what you do is you bash it. Hi everybody, with the final phase now for the biscuits themselves. We're going to cut out, what we've got is just a simple scone cutter like this with fluted edges. Doesn't matter what you use, to be honest, you could cut it into shapes, whatever. This just makes it look a little bit more like an Oreo. This has just come in the fridge, so it's very, very firm. But remember, we're going to be left with lots of bits around the edge. Can put them back together, roll them flat, and basically press them down within one of these cookie cutters just to make sure that we don't miss out on anything. So all our biscuits cut out. Honestly, the place looked like there'd been some sort of horrific accident in a chocolate factory. I could have been worse with what I was going to say there, believe you me. So I'm going to stick these in the oven now. It's been on 160. Hopefully it should take about 18-20 minutes. As you can see, took them out the oven. They smell amazing. They're very, very delicate. You can see I had a couple of little breakages. Using the wrong pal knife. If you leave them for about 2 or 3 minutes before you shift them onto a cooling tray, and then leave them for another good 20 minutes so that they're totally cool, so that when you actually come to decorating them, the icing's not going to melt. So we'll leave them for here for now, and then we'll be back later on to finish them off. Hi everyone, I've taken the chocolate filling out of the fridge and put it in this bowl. There's not a huge amount, but it goes pretty far, and all I'm doing is stirring it round just to loosen up before I put it in the piping bag. Now, it's going to be very stiff to pipe, but that's good because if it wasn't, it would just melt.